about a heaven in Alberta, where they've got all hell for basements. Yeah, I lost my way, but I can't tell about a heaven in Alberta, where they've got all hell for basements.
All right. Hi, everyone. Frankie here, New West Reset. Welcome back. Thank you very much for shooting in, joining a fella here for another one, another live stream, as a matter of fact. New West Reset Live. New West Reset Live episode 80. Is that right? That can't be right. I think I screwed up. Be that as it may, New West Reset Live, episode 80. Hats and rocks and marbles and stuff. Welcome. Thanks for joining me here. Thanks for winding down your weekend with yours truly. As always, we're coming at you live on this Sunday fun day here, Calgary, southwestern Alberta. Purdy, Alberta. Beautiful day today. 23 degrees Celsius. Lovely. A bit of a breeze. Keeps the, back of a guy's neck cool. So you don't get the heat stroke and whatnot. It's nice today. It's like 80 Fahrenheit. Lovely. Just got back about an hour and a half ago from a road trip with my cousin Vinny. Took some footage of a beautiful little southern Alberta town, about an hour south, basically, on the highway from Calgary here. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag too much yet, but a glorious little town called Nanton, Alberta. Took some footage there as we did sort of a mudflood walkabout tour of the town. So keep your peepers peeled here on the channel for that, coming up here in the next, I don't know, couple of weeks or so, once a guy gets it all edited and whatnots and who's it. But it was beautiful down there, and we had a great day, and it was lovely. So thank you to cousin Vinny for picking a guy up and us heading down there in the vehicle. Thanks to Mrs. Cousin Vinny for the vehicle as well. And bought a couple of t-shirts. I should have. Maybe after the break, I'll grab them. They're over there. They're over there. But anyway, blah 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 blah. Thanks for joining me. Hello. Pop into the in the chat, by the way. Into the box there. Say hello. Let me know where you're shooting in from. If you haven't already, consider giving a guy one of these. That'd be great. Thank you very much. It just kind of helps to push me out a little bit as we make our way to 1,700 subscribers here. Thank you to all of you who've already shared and subscribed and all of that good stuff. Really appreciate it. And as per usual, everything we're going to cover here tonight, links in the description below. We're going to look at some Wikipedia, of course, the wonkiness of Wikipedia. But this topic comes by way of friend of the channel, Jabirujoe. Send me an email saying, hey, Frankie, get a load of this. Tell me what you think of this nonsense. And it's the Devil's Marbles out there in Australia land, down under there, mate. Crikey. Anyway, so we're going to have a look at that because I've made a weird links, connections. It's kind of fun, kind of interesting. And, it's kind of what we do around here, right? It's we're winding down your week, winding down your weekend, but still going to have a good time. It's Sunday fun day after all. All right, so what's happening? Who we got here? Ms. Grandma, not Mrs. Ms. Grandma. My grandmother, granddaddy, I don't know, 6 generations ago, born in Edmonton, Middlesex, England, over across the pond over there. Oh, I say, that's lovely. An orphan, employed by the Hudson's Bay Fur Trading Company. Came to Red River, Manitoba. Okay, yeah. Fort Garry. Okay, basically Winnipeg now. Then Fort Edmonton. Okay, up North Alberta there, North Central Alberta. He named Edmonton, Alberta from Middlesex, England, Edmonton. Okay, so Ms. Grandma's great granddaddy 6 generations ago named Edmundchuk up there. Huh. Speaking of which, and speaking of road trips, that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that, by the way, Ms. Grandma. And welcome. Thank you. Speaking of Edmonton and speaking of road trips, the guy's going to be heading up there this coming week, Wednesday, I'm going to be downtown at the, whatever the mall's called down there now. Used to be called Edmonton Eaton Center, but Eaton's is gone. Edmonton City Center Mall? I don't know. Anyways, I think it's on 101st. Anyway, downtown. On Wednesday, I got to get my tickets, so the time is still up in the air. But noonish. I'm going to spend the day having a looky-loo around up there in Edmonton. My old stomping grounds neighborhood I lived up there. We're going to, of course, look at the legislature building. Whew, come on, man. Can't miss that. A bunch of other stuff. So, yeah, if you live in Edmonton, let me know. Shoot me an email. Link for the email down below, or email address down below. Let me know. You can do a meetup and have a look around and grab coffee, eh? You can, your buddy can look around and stuff. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Who we got here? Scott, our buddy Scott is in the box. Scott Pike. Hello, howdy. Realm Dweller is here. Good to see you. Cheers. Hippie Shake in the box. Evening. Howdy. Welcome. T-shirts on their way. Henceforth, Hippie. Kathy Childers in the box. Hello. Going to be sharing some stuff Kathy shared as well later on in the second half of the show. Should be a good time. Title's here. Hey, Title. Hello. Deanne is here as well. Howdy, Deanne in the box. Good to see you. Chassis Mix is here as well. There he is, Jabirujoe. Yeah, you're headlighting. That's it. No pressure or anything. No pressure. As mentioned, Cousin Vinny in the box as well. Good to see all of you. Thank you very much. Again, thanks for joining me here for the live. If you're watching this after the live, after the fact, thanks for your support as well. Really appreciate that. So I think what we'll do is we'll kind of have a look quickly at the photographs that Jabirujoe shared with me. Sort of at the top half of the show, look at some photos. We'll take a mutual break, give you a sneak peek at your upcoming midweek vintage footage. Some old-timey burlesque footage from the 1930s and 40s. Pre-war, pre-WW2 burlesque. Don't worry, it's family friendly. It's fine. You don't have to scurry the kids, the little ones, off into the other room or whatever, cover their eyes or whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's rated E for everyone. G, rated G for general audiences. I don't know. That'll be coming up. And then after, when we come back, we'll look at the Wikipedias a bit. We'll maybe do the goggle machine and have a looky-loo at some of these strange places, because it's the description is vague, but it says it all. There's weird hats, strange rocks, and other oddities. Froth rods in the box. Hola. Hello. How's she going there, eh, bud? So yeah, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. As well as mentioned with links below. Emails down there, of course. MeWe, BitChute, and the green app, the fighting platform, which of course we're broadcasting simultaneously live over there. That's where Realm Dweller is right now, as a matter of fact. Thank you to everybody on both the YouTubes and you can't say the name of the other place on one place, you know. On the you know, the fighting place. Anyway, Vaughn's here. Hello, Vaughn. How's she going there, eh? Good to see you, bud. Thanks for winding down your weekend here with me. So yeah, my location map is there as well, put together by Cousin Vinny. You know, you click on the link for that, and it opens up the goggle maps. And everywhere that I've done boots on the ground is there. You click on it, pops up with a little link. You click on that, boom, video's right there. And hey, you know, you want to throw a guy a couple of Canadian doll hairs, PayPal is there as well. You know, it goes for like gas on road trips, and, you know, bite to eat on road trips. Get some boots on the ground in other towns or cities and here in Purdy, Alberta. You know, or stuff for the channel. You know, like a new mouse, new headphones. So you don't get the woo feedback and whatnot, you know. Wasn't finished typing about reset Grandpa. Oh, well, type away. We got you. We got you, Ms. Grandma. Ah, I see. Well, yeah, see, there you go. Yeah, the Who Tubes is very particular about other tubes for some reason. Odd as that may be. So once again, thank you very much for shooting in, joining a guy here, New West Reset and New West Reset Live, episode 80, hats and rocks and marbles and stuff. Thanks for winding down your weekend here with yours truly on the Sunday Fun Day. Well, Frankie Fingers commandeered himself a set of wheels today and a personal driver over here, my cousin Vinny, and we did some, well, we put on our walking shoes and we did a little bit of looking around, you know, checking things out, you know, seeing what's what down over in this thing over there, down over here. you know.
You know what I mean? All right, we're having a good time.
Well, kind of, sort of, but not really. We're going to be talking about the Devil's Marbles down there in Australia land. And then we're going to bounce around to up here in Canada land. You know, take a little jaunt down in the good old US of A as well. I'm going to show that one with the fella with the accent. The I don't know if it's Brooklyn or New Jersey, Staten Island or New Jersey or some over there, up over there. It's somewhere up in the New England there. That guy. That guy that was funny. That was funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, no, it's not the other one. Some stuff you just you got to watch your P's and Q's. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know. Yeah. And the one with the bus too is funny. I could throw that one. I could put that one's fun. But yeah, certainly here in Canadian land, people get butthurt especially easily these days. Which is crazy considering we supposedly come from a nation of hardy, pioneer, voyageur, fur trappers, and lumberjacks and fishermen. You know, so I don't know. All of a sudden, everybody got all soft, and they get their fifis all hurt and their britches all tied in knots over the slightest little thing. It'd be all politically correct, otherwise they'll come and you're canceled, whatever. I don't know. That's ridiculous. Anyway, good to see you. Thanks for joining me. Let's get the show on the road here. Let's look at some photographs that Jabirujoe sent. Let's look at just this quick nonsense here with these. This is what kicked the whole thing off. I was going to do this a while ago, but then the whole there's a bunch of other stuff that came up, right? Like the Jasper fire, other things of that nature, like that there, and yeah. The one with the video with the lady saying, yeah, underneath these sidewalks used to be hollow. And they used to force black folks to do all their shopping down underneath the sidewalks and the lower levels of all these buildings. That was last week. Sheesh. Sheesh, I say. Sheesh. Anyway, so we got here the Devil's Marbles in Australia. Team Heat. How's she going there, buddy? Good to see you, eh? Look at this shenanigans. And when we get to the Wikipedia, too, it's going to give us an explanation for this. It's just going to have you. It's going to have you shaking your head. You're going to look at it and you're going to think to yourself, nope. Nope. It's like, well, how did that get up there? Did somebody just hoist that up there? I don't know. Doesn't look easy if they did. They're just teetering. You know? Boop, 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 boop. It's like a strong wind. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, for sure there, eh? Team Heat says it's been a New York minute. Football as well. Team Heat. Absolutely. Always good to see you, sir. Oh, this one just split somehow. They'll tell you, I don't know. They'll tell you. Water got on there and then it froze. Nope, that can't be right. It's Australia. I don't know what they say. Lightning. They got hit by the lightning. Who knows? some kind of natural forces split this giant devil's marble. They kind of do look like potatoes. They look like them red potatoes. Maybe like a russet with some dirt on it. Look at that. That one looks like a russet potato. Look at the size of this thing. It gives you an idea there with the young lady. Hello, miss. You can almost see your britches. But anyway. It's a giant heap of potato shaped boulders. The size of houses. Just kind of, scattered about. There you go. There's more than one that's split, too. Yeah. It's kind of what I thought. Oh, yeah, maybe an electromagnetic anomaly, eh? Yeah, that's right. I mean, I don't know, just baffled and befuddled and bewildered as everybody else. There's another one. Really huge. I mean, there's a tree, so, it gives you an idea. I mean, this is in the foreground, but, like what forces caused it to, and if it's all kind of, but again, the narrative says this is, formed because it bubbled up from the molten core of the earth, and eventually everything else eroded around it, and this was all that was left. Basically, that's kind of the long and the short of it. We'll have a look. Which would lead me to believe, if that's what they say, then this was kind of bubbled up, which would mean that wouldn't it crack kind of all jagged? Following the these sort of, I don't know, asymmetrical formations within the rock. I mean, I don't even know how to formulate into words, eh? But I mean, like this, like, come on, man. Hundreds of millions of years, and boy, there you go. Just balancing like that. Yeah, fossilized taters. Tater. Giant russet potato. Well, thank you. Yes, right here in Calgary, Alberta. I mean, who knows? That's just as plausible, if not more so, than what the official story is. It's just, and if this just formed like this naturally, why does it only seem to be concentrated like right here? Or, maybe a few more out of frame on either side, but for the most part, it's concentrated right here. You see what I'm saying? Like, is it just this one spot that it gurgled forth from the bowels of the earth? And then again, tens or hundred millions of years, it erodes into this pile of, looks like a giant petrified pile of horse poop. Kind of like the narrative that they say, I think. It's horse shit. Road apples. Just, house sized. Some maybe car sized, but, And you can see it's almost like it's encrusted in multiple thin layers, almost like a jawbreaker candy, that you suck on it, and there's different layers of the candy coating that are dyed different toxic chemical colors. You know what I'm saying? You get those, in your kit for a nickel or whatever. Or like an onion, layers and layers of skin. So I mean, it's just weird. But apparently, these early explorers found these, and oh look, the devil left his marbles here. Hardy har har har, because of the red earth and whatnot. Marit, hello, hello. Marit, hidden in plain sight. Welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Neighbor's dog going crazy in the background. This is, I just don't know, man. I just don't know. So, anyways, yeah, Jabirujoe sent me that. He said, "What do you think of them? What do you think of them apples? What do you think of them devil's marbles?" And I said, "Well, they look cool and they kind of look familiar, but it's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life." Have you heard of the Olgas in Australia? I have not. Let me goggle machine it right now. Let's see what's going on there. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yes, quite indeed. Let me. Interesting. Back here too. Oh. Oh. Well. Let's put a pin in that. I'm definitely gonna have to a look at that. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Huh. I say. Zig is here. Petrified Fred poop. Well, if Fred, yeah. Where is that? That's in Australia. I was gonna say, I'm Canadian, so Fred's Canadian horse cousin Ted. That's not even in Canadian land or America land. That's in Australia. That's way down under, crikey. So but yeah, giant petrified road apples from giant horses. I don't know, like bigger than the Trojan horse, eh? Old world Mi'kmaq in the box. Kwe Nida. Hello. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, that was very interesting. Thanks for the heads up on that, Vaughn. Definitely gonna have to have a look at that here. Let's quickly just pull up the Wikipedia on the Devil's Marbles here, real quick. Karlu as the indigenous Aboriginal peoples named it, because it's the narrative for Australia is the narrative for Canada is we have to say a lot there, buddy, and the narrative down in Australia is that they got to give wacky names to stuff, like it's a whackabacoosit there, crikey, which just is not the case. It's just that's like everywhere else that has some indigenous First Nations peoples. There's going to be stuff that has a European name and then it'll have an indigenous name. But this is but it still sounds silly. I'm sorry, Karlu. Yeah, I heard you the first time. Why'd you say it twice? No, that's what it's called. It's called Carlu. Place so nice they named it twice. Carlu, the Devil's Marbles. It's a protected area in the Northern Territory of Australia, located in the locality of Warumungu. Man, I'm going to end up butchering a lot of this, so I'm going to apologize in advance there, eh? About 105 clicks or 65 miles south of Tennant Creek, and 390 clicks or 245 miles north of Alice Springs, the nearest settlement, the small town of Wachope, located 9 clicks or 5.5 miles to the south. The hamlet of Wycliffe Well is located. Okay, yes. So basically, it's in the middle of nowhere, around which there's a bunch of other places that could also be considered in the middle of nowhere. Generally, these oddities are, right? The other places we're going to be looking at here later on in the show are also kind of sort of in the middle of nowhere. The Devil's Marbles, great cultural and spiritual significance to the Aboriginal traditional owners of the land. And the reserve protects one of the oldest religious sites in the world, as well as the natural rock formations found there. Carlu is the local Aboriginal term for both the rock features and the surrounding area. The Aboriginal term translates as round boulders. Yeah, it's very logical. Not going to call them flat discs, are we? Oh, okay. It's a little bit of a joke there. Anyway, to the large boulders found mainly in the western side of the reserve. The English name for the boulders derives from a quote from John Ross during the 1870 Australian Overland Telegraph Line expedition, where he said, quote, "This is the devil's country. He's even emptied his bag of marbles around the place," unquote. You're so clever. So clever. Holistic Media is in the box. Welcome. Thank you very much for shooting in. Good to see you. And yes, if you haven't already, please, yes, thank you, Hippie. Please like, share, make sure you're subbed and all that there. You know the usual. Things a million other channels ask you to do a million times. I'll just leave it at ditto. The area was originally named the Devil's Marbles Reserve. In October 61, the name was changed to Devil's Marbles Conservation Reserve. 21st September 79, and under the Territories Park and Wildlife Conservation Act. 1980, the Conservation Reserve was listed on the now defunct Registered National Estate. In 82, almost the entire reserve was registered as a secret site by the Aboriginal Areas Protection Authority. Yeah. Here we go. Features. Large granitic, so granite, I guess, boulders that form from the exposed top layer of an extensive and mostly underground granite formation. The natural processes of weathering and erosion have created the various shapes of boulders. Yeah, various shapes of round or potato. Oblong? Round or oblong? I mean, not various shapes, and there's none that are, triangular or parallelograms or anything, eh? I mean, they're round, they're all roundish. Yeah, they're timbits. Or maybe they are like dinosaur balls, eh? They're like dinosaur bollocks. It's petrified dino doo-doo from the actual dinosaurs. Anyway, some of the boulders are naturally but precariously balanced atop one another or on larger rock formations. So they have to make special note. By the way, those balance like that's natural. Before you even ask, we'll let you know. While others have been split cleanly down the middle by natural forces. Boulders are situated in a wide, shallow desert valley and are found in scattered groups, mainly in the western side of the reserve. Short access road leads directly to the Boulder's Fields from the Stewart Highway, yada, yada. Okay. By natural forces. What natural forces? What gets into the significance from the Aboriginal peoples? It's a sacred site. So there's been various acts put through in the 80s and 90s to protect. Probably too little, too late, but it's better than nothing. All right, so here we go. So the formations constitute a degraded nubbin. So you have a nubbin, and it slowly degrades. That then you got yourself some devil's marbles there, buddy. So the formation is made of granite and are part of the top layer of formation which penetrates the ground from below, like little geological islands in the desert, surrounded by large amounts of sandstone. The granite was formed millions of years ago as a result of the hardening of the liquid hot magma within the Earth's crust. The thick layers of sandstone on top of the granite exerted extreme downward pressure on the granite. After some time, tectonic forces causing the folding of the Earth's crusts in the area, which lifted the granite, fractured the sandstone, allowing the granite to come closer to the surface. As the pressure diminished, the granite expanded, causing cracks to form, and then the larger formations began to separate into big square blocks. Basically, eventually, those square blocks got all rounded off through erosion over millions of years, weathering, so on and so forth. So here you go. Here's the diagrams. It starts off like this, 1.7 billion years ago. And then all the pressures push it up and cause these cracks. And then the erosion somehow makes them rocks, round rocks stacked on top of round rocks. So there it is. Now, I know that granite is harder than sandstone because I can grab sandstone with my fingers and just rub the sandstone, and I get a powdery sand on my fingers, and it dusts off of the stone. I do it on sandstone foundations and sandstone walls all around the old buildings here in Calgary. Pretty much every boots on the ground video that has some eroded sandstone, that's what I do. I rub my hand on it and I show you. So you can see how easily it erodes and how soft it is. So somehow this soft sandstone puts so much downward pressure on the much harder substance known as granite, that they make butcher blocks and countertops and stuff out of, big pillars to hold up buildings and so on out of. Yeah, the soft sandstone put so much downward pressure on the harder granite that it caused it to crack into giant cubes, which then got rounded. Yes, it exactly. It kind of hurts your Brian.
Well, that's just silly.
Silly, yes. Idiotic, yes.
But there it is. Controversy. Oh, one of the boulders was removed from the reserve in 1952 and taken to Dallas Springs to form a memorial to John Flynn, the founder of the Royal Flying Doctor Service. The boulder was chosen as a symbol of his link to the outback, but it became a source of a lengthy controversy. The boulder had unwittingly been removed from a sacred site of the Aboriginal women of the area. Eventually, after more than 45 years of negotiations, boulder swap was arranged, and the sacred boulder was removed from the grave, returned to its original place in 1999. The grave is now marked with a similar but non-sacred boulder. Yeah, you could take that one. That one's not sacred. That one over there. We don't give a shit about that one. We don't give two rat's asses about that boulder. But that identical boulder over there, that one's sacred. Serves them right for, after forcing the Aboriginal people to go through 45 years to get their boulder back, after just going to march into your sacred territory and grab this stuff. If you don't mind. Well, actually, we do mind there, buddy. What are you doing there, eh? Well, too late now there. Good day, mate. Boom, off he goes. Truckload of sacred devil marbles. So, the Aboriginals are like, hey. You get up in arms. Okay, 45 years later, you can have your boulder back. Wow. Talk about bureaucratic red tape. But that's how those things are formed, you see. It's just, they just bubble up out of the earth. And then, the downward pressure causes it to crack into cubed sections, like Lego. And then the erosion wears away this soft sandstone layer it was so soft that it wears away with wind and rain, but so hard that it can crack granite. And then over bazillions of years, it makes devil's balls out there in the middle of nowhere in the outback. I thought to myself, you've got to be kidding me. But, well, then, and that's just the thing, right, Hippie? It is very interesting because, first of all, from this northern hemisphere, for whatever you want to call it, from where I'm in Canada land, from where you are over in Wales, right? I mean, Australia is literally just like the farthest place ever, right? Maybe the southern tip of South America, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's far. And it's just, it seems so foreign. And I'm sure Australians look at Canada and they're like, that place is nuts, man. Like, they have this thing called grizzly bears. Yeah. They're like giant, hairy, angry pigs with fangs and talons, claws. That weigh the same as a gorilla, and they'll eat you. And then you think, okay, I got to run away from these. So you go up to where it's cold, and no, then they have giant white ones up there called polar bears. They can hide in the snow so you can't see them, and they'll eat you. But yeah, it just seems so exotic and far, right? I mean, as a kid, I remember watching all these nature documentaries, and they were either about the Amazon, some region of Africa, or Australia. Because it's huge. It's huge. Australians don't even know about Australia, man. Because there's so many places you just can't go. Maybe some of the original peoples that have the ancient knowledge of the watering holes and whatnot, and the bush tucker and how to survive and all that stuff. Maybe. But some clown like me, like a tourist, I just get my backpack and I'll bring some water and some beef jerky, yeah? I'll be totally fine, buddy. Boom, dead in 3 days. Dead in 3 days, at best. So when I saw this, I'm like, you got to be kidding. Devil's marbles. And just the nature of how he found it. They were just, we're just put some telegraphs through here. Why? Where are you going out there? That you need to put telegraph wires, and then you just discover this, the devil's marbles, tee-hee-hee. And then the Aboriginals are like, yeah, we know. It's big. We've known about it for tens of thousands of years or whatever. Modoc in the box. Good to see you. Welcome. So yeah, I'm just like, just like, get out of here, man. There's also a place called Wycliffe Well, population 0. Oh, yeah. They mentioned that. Yeah. It's, and I think you'd mentioned it as well. Yeah. Strange. Weird stuff out there. Very weird stuff. Yeah, exactly. Realm Dweller says, from a square peg to a round orb. From over there on the fighting platform, you know, that their green app. So needless to say, when I saw that, I was like, come on, man. I mean, right away it reminded me of this. I might as well just jump right into this real quick because and we've covered this here on the channel before. I've done a whole show on this. But it reminded me of locally-ish Red Rock Coulee natural area. Let me pull that up and show you that here, just for shits and giggles. Again, the Wikipedia, but, you know, it is what it is. Red Rock Coulee. There's a shot of it there. So, excuse me. Beg your pardon, excuse me. Got a frog in my throat, buddy. Red Rock Coulee is a provincial natural area in southeastern Alberta, Canada. 54 clicks or 30 miles southwest of the city of Medicine Hat. Yeah, that's right. The city's called Medicine Hat. So what? You want to make something of it? And 26 clicks or 20 miles south of the hamlet of Seven Persons. Yep, that's the name of that Indigenous First Nations hamlet. It's on Alberta Highway 887. The main feature of this natural landscape is the large spherical reddish boulders, or concretions, some of which measure 2.5 meters or just over 8 feet in diameter. They're scattered across the Badlands and coulees and can be seen along the hiking trails as well as from the viewpoint on Highway 887. So again, out in the middle of nowhere, out in the Badlands where nobody goes really, because it's drier than a popcorn fart out there. Well, it could be. I mean, I don't. Yeah, prehistoric cannonballs, man. I don't know. They could be something that, because they do look like they were collected and put in one place for the most part. These, as well as the devil's marbles there in Australia. I mean, there are scattered about, but for the most part, concentrated in one area. But not only does Red Rock Coulee have these round-ish, although some of them look almost jar-like, but they also have the sort of hoodoo or the tower type, and then some of these are cracked also in half. Anyway, link in the description below for this. Basically, it says that the formation lies close to the surface under a thin layer of soil and has been sculpted by erosion, exposing the concretions and creating areas of badlands and hoodoos. The dark gray shale, with beds of greenish and gray sandstone and siltstone, pale gray bentonite, and brown ironstone in the bedrock, create bands of color across the exposed badlands. The Bear's Paw Formation, that's the name of the area, was deposited in the Western Interior Seaway and includes a variety of marine fossils. So there's fossils in these things too, marine fossils. So they formed after sediments had been deposited when mineral cement, primarily calcite and ironstone, precipitated around bits of shell, bone, and other biological debris. The concretions grew outward as circular waters deposited more layers of cement. Oh, circulating waters, excuse me. The cement makes the concretions resistant to erosion compared to the surrounding sediments, and the iron minerals give them their reddish color. Close examination of the concretions may reveal traces of the original bedding and other sedimentary structures. There may also be growth rings produced by the layers of cement. Yes, because they are ringed. You see in some that are severed in half. If you look in the crack, you can see rings like a tree, as well as remnants of fossils that were the nucleus for the cementation. So basically, these were formed as, I guess they're saying, sort of like pearls are formed in an oyster. And then as the land around, the sedimentation of the land around it eroded, it just left these calcified uh, rock and mineralized formations, as you know, everything else was washed away and blown away around them. So again, some kind of natural occurrence forming these round sphericals here. I thought that was kind of neat but interesting little thing. And again, we've looked at these on the channel before, but I'm just going to quickly just look at a couple of images real quick on my Pablo machine here. So you can see here, some of them are quite large. Some of them are spherical, some are potato shaped. Look very similar in a lot of ways. It's split, cracked. So a world away, way over here in Alberta, Canada, Canadian land compared to Australia. But there you go. I thought that was just a very interesting similarity. Most especially considering the idea of how they were formed. Like, come on, man. Come on. You mean to tell me that the exact same geological oddities are going to happen from what they're trying to feed us is two different methods. One is, you know, bits of seashells swirling around to form a ball that eventually becomes a giant round rock and gets popped up under the Earth's surface and then is revealed through erosion and time. Meanwhile, in Australia, stuff's coming up and pressure causes it to form and it pops up above the surface and erosion and then it's revealed. I don't know. No geologist. I'm just a simple guy here, man. But, Angel Dreams is in the box. Hello, hello. Howdy and welcome. Thanks for shooting in. So I just thought that was like right away that popped in my head. Red rocks. I was like, yeah, it's, I mean, potato shapes, ones that are cracked down the middle, some that are perfectly spherical. Some of them almost look like round jars with lids on them, though. You know, like because that one ring is a little bit smaller in circumference than the actual main body of the bobule. What do they call them? Nubules or what? In that one article? I don't know. Ball bearings from a Titanic-sized mining machine is my thesis. Ah, very interesting. Realm dwellers throwing an idea out there. Yeah, well, I mean, and vice versa. Like, you know, I had a buddy up here. I had no idea about those devil's marbles. Jabirujoe sent them to me, and I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Yeah, sort of like a button mushroom or like a what do they call those? Not cremini. But yeah, I guess the white button mushroom. Yeah. Well, that's the one thing. Scott Pike with a good question there in the box. So the laser sharp slice took place after the erosion. That's, I'm guessing, yeah. Like the erosion is what left behind the round balls. And then the splitting, the laser precision almost, laser sharp precision, like slice in half, whether you're talking the Aussie version or the Alberta version. supposedly occurred after the fact from some other natural force, of which they didn't seem to get into. They get into how they were formed, but not how they were cracked. Now, could this be the result of ancient civilizations that inhabited the area, splitting them in order to use them for some purpose? I don't know. But if you want to know more about that area, that's so whole southern and southeastern Alberta area and the strange geological formations that litter that place, they're lousy with goofy stuff down there. Check out Crypto Alchemist's channel, Bernie. I mean, he's done boots on the ground down there. He's done a lot of studies about a lot of the all I can say is geological anomalies, and it's fascinating stuff. And he's got way more expertise in that area than I've just covered it briefly on a past live stream. The Red Rocks here in Alberta, Red Rock Coulee. When I was covering, I think buffalo rubbing stones, maybe, I think is what it was. I don't know. It was, when the buffalo get itchy and they would scratch their backs and rub themselves against these giant boulders left in the middle of the prairies by the receding icebergs, the receding ice age, would leave these glacial erratics peppered all over the flat prairies. That's how they explain these giant car-sized boulders. And then they explain away the fact that they look like they've been chipped away at and worn away at. They say, well, buffalo over generations would learn of where these things were, and they would rub against them. And that's what caused the wearing away of those particular stones. As opposed to those other stones over there in the Badlands. No, that's erosion from wind, you see. Well, how do you know? Oh, because it's dry, so the buffalo didn't go in there. But the itchy buffalo were all over here.
When you get an itch, then you do the twitch in bedrock. Twitch, twitch.
Yeah, it is crafty, and apparently it's selective or something. I don't know. Hey, my pal Bill is here. William Powell's in the box. Hello, hello. Giant toys. Yeah, could be. Well, I mean, maybe there is some half truth to the name the Devil's Marbles, the Giants' Marbles or the Nephilim's Marbles. I don't know. Yeah, just like there's many different kinds of penguins too, right? You get the big, tall, like what do they call it, the emperor penguins that are like 5 feet tall or something. Then you have the little bitty guys that are like a foot tall, little rock hoppers and all them guys. And only the female kangaroo has the pouch. The male kangaroo doesn't have the pouch because the when the baby roo, the kit, I believe, it crawls up out of the birthing canal, and then it continues to gestate for a while inside the pouch. It's like a natural incubator baby thing going on with the female kangaroo. And then once it matures, then it hangs out in the pouch for a while. But from my understanding, the male does not have the pouch. Reminds me of an old Seinfeld show thing where some old guy says, well, because then the male kangaroo has pouch envy, like I've got things to carry too. At least give me a pocket. Yeah. Could be, Scott. Buffalo with chisels. Could very well be. Could very well be indeed. Where are we at here? Wow, we're an hour into the show already. Right on the nose. Right on the old proboscis. Perfect time for a Giants vasectomy. Maybe? Who knows, man. Yeah, we'll just pile them up over here. Let the sun dry them out. Kimmy's in the box. Howdy, Kimmy. Good to see you. Perfect timing for a mid-show break here. We'll give you a sneak peek at your upcoming midweek. And as a reminder, or if you're new here on the channel, first of all, hello, thank you, welcome. Secondly, every Wednesday, vintage footage video upload. Some music to go along with it. So every Sunday for the live show, I'll give you a little bit of a premiere viewing, a little sneak peek at that vintage footage for your midweek. I'm going to do that right now. This one is Butterball Burlesque. It's classic burlesque. Again, it's family friendly. It's fine. I'm not going to put anything too racy up here. I don't, guy doesn't want to get shut down. Shut down by the Hootoops. But that said, this is 1930s, 1940s classic era vintage footage burlesque. It's about, I just shot 5 minutes long. And again, it's the music that goes with it, it's a good one. She's a good one. So smoke them if you got them. Put on your ear goggles. And turn it up to 11. And we'll see you back here in just under 5 minutes. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. All right. So cheers, everyone. And thanks again for joining me. And once again, this is classic burlesque. Family friendly. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to see any booby.
Come on in here. Baby, baby, foxy lady, I can see in your eyes, you mean to drive me crazy. Baby, baby, foxy lady, some men just can't eat chicken without the gravy. Now, baby, beauty queen, I can see by your size you're much too lean. Baby, beauty queen, I'm a man who needs more woman than you've ever been. 'Cause my baby, she's got a woman, she's got. Well, my baby, she's got a butterball woman, she's got. Yeah, my baby, she's got a butterball woman, she's got. hands are so greasy.
All right. That's enough of that nonsense. We are back. Welcome back. Hello. Thank you very much for shooting in and joining me here. Frankie, New West Reset, New West Reset Live, episode 80. Episode 80 already. Wow. Hats and rocks and marbles and stuff. Just moving into the second half of the show here, just coming out of the vintage footage video, 1930s and 1940s, sort of pre-WW2 burlesque, but the classy stuff, the feather dancing, the big giant bubble dance, so on and so forth. You know, with some nice tunage go along with it. I like to do that. It's a band called Big Sugar. Use them quite often here on the show and on the channel and whatnot. So yeah, thanks for shooting in and joining me here. Thanks for winding down your weekend. Yours truly on the Sunday Fun Day. If you haven't already, consider giving a guy one of these, or, you know, one of those. It's fine. Whatever. I'm not going to drown my pillow tonight crying myself to sleep. Appreciate all of you who are joining me here. And after the fact, if you're watching, thanks for your support as well. Thank you to everybody who's already shared it and subscribed and all that good stuff. And again, links for everything below. What do you think of that video, by the way? Yeah, I mean, that's a good track. Darn good track. William Powell's, Bill Powell says, I'm dancing with her. How could you not? Hippie's dancing away there, too. It's a good track. Oh, yeah, we can get a little, you know, a little bit. We skirt the line. We'll skirt the line, right? We skirt the line. Oh, Jabirujoe says, I've seen this before. 25-cent peep show. That's going back. That is going back a ways. There was only a quarter. Wow. Wow. Anyway, yeah, great tune. Great dancing too, you know. Gotta admit, some very fine dancing. Ms. Grandma says, I wonder because everything starts over 1867. Well, yeah, the birthplace of the nation of Canada land itself. When we officially became a quote-unquote independent nation, 1867. Yes, Michelle's channel is a great source of information. She does the deep dives. She doesn't mess around. She knows what she's doing. Great channel. The streets are named after these recyclons. All came here. We see discovery of Canada. Yeah, they that whole thing about them getting royal charter to come in through the Hudson's Bay and be able to claim all the land of everything in the in that whole basin area. Everything that feeds the Hudson's Bay, feeds into the Hudson's Bay. They're able to claim all that land or surrounding all the bodies of water that feed the bay, which is an area almost the size of the United States in modern times. Back then, Rupert's land, right? But, you know, it's just a bunch of filthy fur trappers out here and indigenous First Nations wild savage redskin Indians. Look out now. They'll scalp you. All that bull crap. You know, living in their teepees. Why did they live in teepees? Oh, they got to follow the migrating caribou or the migrating buffalo. Why? If they live on the East Coast or the West Coast or around the Great Lakes or around Hudson's Bay or James Bay, they don't have to go anywhere. They can build permanent structures and did. And even they tell stories of stuff already being here from their elders. You know. So yeah, that whole Hudson's Bay Trading Company thing is, yeah, that's a whole kettle of fish. Basically, I think just an arm or a tentacle, really, HBC is an arm or tentacle of the, you know, East India trading companies and all those, right? Yeah, well, in towns and star forts and then the French fur traders came in and Louette, gentil, oh, qu'est-ce que c'est là-bas? C'est un grand fort. That's, you know, then just, yep. The narrative is the British and or the French built them. Really? They can get away with that because they know that, you know, North America was colonized by the British and the French, especially up here in Canada land. You could say, oh yeah, these bastion forts are, you know, from the French or the British fighting each other, or the, you know, the remnants from the Spanish-American Wars, or yada yada yada. The Indian Wars, right? You know, those old world McMock. I'm sure you've heard that. The Indian Wars. Really, which ones? Not only which wars, but which quote unquote Indians he talking about. So vague, you know. Well, you know, them Indians. Oh, well, okay, which nations? There's lots of nations, dum dum. Which ones? You know. Oh, I don't know, you know. We were at war. I didn't stop to ask them their history. You know, it's that kind of nonsense. Yeah, I mean, the more and more that you look around, you can see, like, wait a second. I mean, there's one way up in, you know, sort of northeastern Manitoba. Why is that way up there? There should be nothing to do with any star fort, like a big giant bastion fort way up there. Oh no, the British built that one for when the French tried to reclaim that. Right. So the Red Rock at the first half of the show, I just kind of got distracted by the chat there for a second. So the first half of the show, we mentioned Red Rock Coulee, which is in Medicine Hat, Alberta. So I thought I'd pull that up real quick. Again, the Wikipedia, just to give us a rough idea. And I'll show you on the goggle machine on the maps too, where it is if you're not familiar with it. Well, it'll probably show it on this. Because there's another strange, odd connection with this name, Medicine Hat. And another area that also has weird rocks that isn't in Canada land or in Australia. But anyways, Medicine Hat is a city in southeast Alberta, Canada. It's located along the South Saskatchewan River. That's fun to say. South Saskatchewan. It's approximately 169 clicks or 105 miles east of Lethbridge, the city, that is. and 295 kilometers or kilometers, 180-ish miles, southeast of Calgary, Alberta. City and adjacent town of Redcliffe, northwest are within the Cypress County, Cypress Hills area. Medicine Hat was the 8th largest city in Alberta in 2021 with 63,000 people. It's also the sunniest place in Canada land, according to Environment Canada, averaging 2,544 hours of sunshine per year. Okay, I guess I got to take your word for it because sure. I guess because it's so dry, I don't get a lot of cloud cover. I don't. It is the Badlands after all. Started as a railway town. Today, Medicine Hat is served by the Trans-Canada Highway, Highway number 1, and the eastern terminus of the Crow's Nest Highway that goes through the Crow's Nest Pass through the Rockies. Nearby communities considered part of Medicine Hat area include the town of Redcliffe, Desert Bloom, Dunmore, Irvine, Seven Persons, Vinerville, Cypress Hills, including the park, Interprovincial Park, Cypress Hills, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. Historically, it's been known for natural gas. It was immortalized by Rudyard Kipling as having all hell for a basement. There it is. There's my channel's song right there, eh? A heaven in Alberta where they have all hell for a basement. It's known as Gas City. Where do you live? I live in Gas City. Is that near Beantown? Anyway, sorry. Sorry. In 2021, Medicine Hat became the first city in Canada to achieve the functional zero chronic homelessness. Okay, well, that's good. Name and origins of the ancient... Okay, here we go. The name Medicine Hat is an English interpretation of a Samos or Blackfoot word for the eagle tail feather headdress worn by the medicine man. So not just an eagle feather and not just an eagle feather headdress, but the eagle feathered headdress worn by not just anyone, but by the medicine man. Not the chief, the medicine man. Okay. That's very specific. Hence Medicine Hat. Not Medicine Man hat or not Medicine Eagle Feather. Yes, by the way, what's spelled Mi'kmaq, the Mi'kmaq peoples are, I believe, Canada's oldest peoples. Generally-ish, East Coast Canada-ish, in around the St. Lawrence, and the Gulf of the St. Lawrence and the Atlantic, northeastern United States, Maine, Vermont, and then, Newfoundland, Labrador, Quebec, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, all the Maritimes and so on over in Canada. And they were not teepee people. It's ridiculous. They had lodges, they had wooden structures, and they had temporary structures, yes. Down by the fish harvesting areas where they would trap fish, because they didn't just sit there with a fishing pole, or a spear throwing it at the fish, Well, they had a whole fish trap thing set up. So all they had to do is just harvest from the traps. This goes back thousands of years, at least from what I understand. Anyway, so it's a Blackfoot word for the medicine man eagle feather on his hat. Several legends are associated with the name of the mythical merman river serpent named Soy-Yi-Dabi. The creator first appeared the hunter and instructed him to sacrifice his wife to get mystical powers, which are manifested in a special hat? What? Another legend tells of a battle long ago between the Blackfoot and the Cree, in which a retreating Cree medicine man lost his headdress in the South Saskatchewan River. Wow, it goes from the completely ridiculous to the utterly benign. Boring as hell. Oh, a guy dropped his hat in the river running away from a fight. Either that, or a guy sacrificed his wife to get magical powers in a hat. It's one or the other, I guess.
What?
All right, well, Anyways, I mean, if it's a gathering place of Indigenous folks, maybe at some point that there was, Indigenous shaman of sorts that maybe made his home nearby. And it just became known as, we just go down there. The guy's got his hat hanging outside his cabin there, or his house, or his dwelling. And that's how you know he's the shaman or the medicine man. And who knows, their definition of quote unquote medicine man thousands of years ago might be different than what we're told now the Indigenous peoples called them medicine man. But of course, there you go, 1883, CP rail comes in, and then the whole thing changes. People just come flooding in. They named it from the First Nations legends. So they named the town Medicine Hat, taken from the Indigenous Canadian Indians, quote unquote, from their stories. So yeah, well, just how do we say that in English to the translator? He says, Medicine Hat, I guess. All right, that's what we're calling her. Calling her Medicine Hat. Toot toot, chugga chugga chugga. Next stop, Lethbridge. Built the first hospital in Winnipeg, this guy. Oh, okay. CPR established this town as a railway divisional point. Okay, there you go. That answers the question I had earlier with Cousin Vinny. So the railroad divides at Medicine Hat. So it's kind of an important way stop. In 1905, when the province of Alberta was founded, it took in Medicine Hat, which had formerly been in the district of Assiniboia. There it is again. Medicine Hat was incorporated as a city May 9th, 1906. Depot itself still standing. National Historic Site since 1992. Yeah, the old train depot with the ice cream cone roof. Roof? I don't know. Yeah, kind of basically Badlands meets the rolling foothills of the Rockies. And yeah, it's a bit of a floodplain because it's the lowlands, the Badlands, extremely arid. It gets hot. It gets all that sunshine, don't you know? It just said it right there in the article. So, yeah, like, your grandfathers wouldn't know because it has been forgotten. Not to mention everybody gets shoved into reserves, reservations, and then not to mention the residential schools. When you have an oral tradition of how stuff's passed down for the most part, Big Mock excluded because you guys have a written language. But for the most part, we're told oral tradition. So when you take the kids away from the elders and the parents and the family, and they don't speak the language anymore, and they don't get passed down the songs and the stories, the knowledge about everything, the culture, and about just everything too, living off the land, living with the land. Yeah, then it doesn't take long, and you just forget, just absolutely forget. Kimmy in the box says, there's a spot along the mountains on the way through Crow's Nest Pass where if you drive through at the right time, you can see a horse and rider shadow on the mountains. Really? That's interesting. I haven't heard that one. That's interesting, Kimmy. Thanks for that. I do remember seeing, and I used to have, I don't know if I still have it, maybe in some random photograph folder. Uh, I think it was going through Crow's Nest Pass where there was a face carved into the rock that where they supposedly carved away part of the side of the mountain, but rather than carving the whole thing away, they just kind of carved out a not even a tunnel, but just a sort of big open. They blasted away a big open space, and then there's a carving of a face, and the highway goes through. And it's since been, I think, removed or something. So there's some interesting stuff through the mountain passes for sure. Gotta see if I can dig up that photo. I'll save that for another thing. So, anyways, yeah, this medicine hat. I mean, admittedly, I'm very familiar with the name, but it's yeah, admittedly, it's unusual for a name for a city, or even if it was just some little town, insignificant little town of 2,000 people. You know, just a blip on the map, if you will. I mean, this is obviously, you know, goes back to, you know, because indigenous peoples lived there, the railroad. I think there was a Northwest Mounted Police outpost there and a fort down there. Yeah, there was a fort down there. Well, nearby, Fort McLeod. So, yeah, there's kind of a lot going on. But it's all very, I don't know, it's just unusual. But anyways, the name, as odd as it may be, it's familiar to me, but I could see how it could be weird. But then it clicked on something that I don't even remember where I heard it from, but there's a place in Utah called Mexican Hat. I thought, wait, Mexican hat, like medicine hat, Mexican hat. I thought that just instantly jumps out at me because it's again very unusual, but it's so similar to medicine hat. So let me show you quickly on the goggle machine on the maps where medicine hat is. You'll see it's right sort of on the edge of the Badlands. And then we'll have a look at this Mexican hat. So Medicine Hat is here. And again, that's where the red rocks of Red Rock Coulee are close by. They're right here. So, you know, looking at a 5-10 minute drive here in southern Alberta, there's the American border. There's the border between Alberta and Saskatchewan. You have British Columbia over here, right? So just right above, this is the big, huge Blackfeet Indian Reservation in Montana, which is weird because in Canada we call them the Blackfoot, and they refer to themselves as Blackfoot. But in the States, it's Blackfeet. But apparently they're the same nation, so I'm told. So that's weird also. Just weird as a, unlearned, uninformed guy that I'm just like, just wonder why. Why the distinction? Just because there's a arbitrary line in the sand. They're free to cross the border whenever they want. They don't have to go through. If they want, they can just. They don't have to go through a border crossing. But Mexican Hat is just down here in, right just on the edge here of Utah. And it's in Utah's Badlands. I mean, pretty much the entire state. No offense, but pretty much the entire states of Utah and Wyoming and Nevada are Badlands. But the Badlands that start here in Canadian land in and around here, they do kind of come all the way down. And then just through this area here, it just gets drier and drier, right? And more geographic anomalies, like weird rocks and stuff. But the name Mexican hat stuck out at me, and that good question. Why didn't they just call it sombrero? Right? You know, like, hey, it looks like a Mexican hat. You mean a sombrero? Yeah. So why didn't they just call it sombrero? But anyway, let's look at what the Wikipedia says about Mexican hat in Utah. I would have loved to have done a show with John Levi about this, considering that cat lives down here in a Utah way. I don't know if he's even heard of Mexican hat. Maybe that's where I heard it from. But anyway, Mexican Hat, Utah. Mexican Hat is a census-designated place. Well, it sounds so romantic. In Utah, in the United States. It's on the San Juan River. That's better. That sounds better. On the northern edge of Navajo Nation's borders in south-central San Juan County. Population was 31 people at the 2010 census. A sharp decline from the previous two censuses. What? Okay. I'm guessing that's indigenous peoples. I'm guessing because the region seems very dry. I guess aside from the San Juan River, that is. But yeah, there it is, a Mexican hat, an upside-down sombrero. Upside-down sombrero. Mexican hat rock. The name Mexican hat comes from a curiously sombrero, there it is, sombrero-shaped rock outcropping in the northeast edge of the town. The rock measures 60 feet or 18 meters wide by 12 feet or 3.7 meters. The hat, in quotations, has two rock climbing routes, ascending it. Mexican hat has frequently been noted on lists of unusual place names. Yeah, see? That's what made me go, wait, what? Hold on here. In 2016, the U.S. Route 163 bridge crossing the San Juan River on the south border of the town was renamed the Jason R. Workman Memorial Bridge after, remember the SEAL teams? It was KIA and the stand over there. He was a graduate of the nearby San Juan High School. Okay. What does that have to do with the rock, man? Geography. Okay, it's State Route 261, just on the boundary, yada, 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 Navajo Nation. Monument Valley. Okay, we're all familiar with that from the old Western movies. Gooseneck State Park. It's located 9 miles or 14 clicks west by northwest. Alhambra Rock is 6 miles. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. According to the United States, okay. How is it formed, man? Nothing. Bubkiss. It's sombrero shaped. And they tell you where it is, how it got there. Tell you how some bridge got its name. Nothing at all about. I mean, again, not that we're not going to make fun of it like crazy, but it's always fun to kind of poke holes in the narrative. But I guess if one was to hazard a guess, an educated guess, erosion left that balancing on there. I'm thinking. I don't know, man. I'm going to go machine it here again with the images just so we can see what the heck's going on. It's so odd. And I wonder if there's any round, spherical, marble, or potato shaped anomalous rocks in the area. I guess it kind of looks like if this is the top of the sombrero and this is the brim, it's upside down. Sure, I guess. Sort of. I guess I see where they're coming from. Maybe. If you close your left eye and tilt your head to the right, it kind of looks like an upside down sombrero. I wonder what's going on with this shenanigans. Kind of looks like a sphinx from this angle. To me, does it look a bit like a sphinx-ish? Like the head, the front where it's hoof, it's hoof, it's paw, it's foot. And then the hindquarters. But yeah, there's where you can, if you want to climb this thing, I guess. Okay, these are what they're, I'm guessing this is similar to what they're saying eventually through erosion and wind, whipping, blowing wind. Eventually these cubed block-like rock things are eventually going to form into big balls, big red balls. If you know what I mean, like, devil's marbles, red rock coulee. Eventually, oh, this looks really weird though, man. But yeah, eventually, whoosh, then they're going to boink, tumble, and roll down because they'll be perfectly spherical shaped boulders. There's a whole bunch of phallus shaped things like this. It says Mexican hat, so these have yet to be formed hats. I don't know. I mean, it's highly unusual. But just the balancing act itself is pretty crazy. Again, the name's just Mexican hat. Okay. But right away I thought medicine hat, Mexican hat, and it's in the Badlands. But I'm not seeing any other. Maybe that's sort of potato shaped. I'm not seeing any other sort of round. Maybe here. Very interesting. Could be, right? Like it could be. It's like cooked out or melted out, or I don't know. Molecularly changed. Transformed on a molecular level to a less dense material, and then it starts to sag and droop under its own weight. Maybe I mean it's just so this type of thing, right? That does look kind of like it's melted or cooked out or like candle wax ish a bit. Looks like it could have been sort of stone blocks that are kind of, I don't know, rotted away somehow. I mean, it could be any number of things, right? Kind of everything's on the table because, we're treated like mushrooms around here, for crying out loud. We're kept in the dark and fed nothing but bullshit. This looks like Drumheller, in about an hour and a half east by northeast of here. It's sort of the tippy top of the Badlands here, where it kind of starts ish here in Alberta. Yes, it's got different tiers, levels to it, cigarette sort of thing, maybe. Definitely something wacky going on. But yeah, I bet you they would say, "Oh yeah, you come back in between 3 and 7.5 million years, and these big blocks will now be round balls that have rolled down because of the wind and the erosion." so on and whatnot. I mean, that's what they tell us with the Red Rock Coulee and with the Devil's Marbles. Yeah, it's very, very unusual. Very strange. No, to them, they say, that could that have been some kind of structure? Or if it's more, round rather than angular, then, it looks like a giant tree stump, like the Devil's Tower in Wyoming or something, right? That's a massive, sawed off tree stump. No, you can't even throw a dog a bone and give me that it at least looks like that. I'm not saying that you're confirming that it is there, Mr. Geologist Man. I'm just saying, does it kind of look like a giant tree stump? Nope. See, they try to distract you from that by saying, oh, no, it looks like an old medieval castle tower, just really big. That's why we call it the Devil's Tower or whatever. Oh, the Mexican hat looked like a flying saucer, man. A little green man from Mars is going to come out of there. I don't know. Yeah, they do look like blocks, right? So again, it's very, very unusual. Maybe it's made by swirling water also. You never know. The Snake River went around it and formed a hat, an upside down hat. So again, this comes by way of Jabirujoe, flying saucer man. Send me those photos of Carlo, the Devil's Marbles. And again, the narrative of how they're formed, right? And right away, as mentioned, I thought of Red Rocks right here in Alberta. And they're like worlds away, like literally, from Australia there. Should even look it up in the goggle machine of where that is in Australia. Because, that's, way out there, man. Way out there. You'll see when I share the screen here what we're talking about, where it is. Like here's Queensland, which is huge. And even I don't know, 200 kilometers west of the coast. I mean, boom, you're in desert. You're in look out, man, land already. And then you got to get all the way out to here. And the story, again, as a reminder of how these were discovered, well, we're putting telegraph lines in through here. What? Yeah, the telegraph, the telegraph. You mean telephone? No, before that even. What? Why? Way out here. Apparently this whole area is just lousy with these marbles. But you can see, just like red earth, middle of nowhere. Where? I'm not sure where they were coming from and where they were going to with their telegraph. Maybe they were going north from Davenport to get to Tennant Creek, or south from Tennant Creek to get to Davenport. Maybe they're traveling between. Got to put a telegraph between these through come hell or high water. You'll die out there, mate. That's fine. Just going all walkabout. Just get some bush tucker. We'll be all right. No, you're gonna die, dude. That just seems crazy. I mean, we've all heard the stories. We got Aussies in the box in the chat right now that can confirm. Yeah, you're right, Frankie. You will die out there. I'm telling you, Red Rock's coulee, you'll die too if you don't have water and get out of the sun. You get far enough away from any town, you're in and around those coulees in the summertime. You get lost out there and you don't have enough water. You can't shade yourself from the sun. You're dead. Dead meat. Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I figured. Yeah. Just not much going on out there where the devil's marbles are. Not much going on. Red Rock's coulee. I mean, yeah, there's hiking trails. It's not as easy as you think to get to. And then Mexican Hat in Utah. Again, just in the middle of nowhere, man. Just in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of too bad, though, that I didn't see any big rocks in Mexican Hat. I'm just going to look one more time with the goggle machine here. There's the rock itself. I think we can drop the man down. So what do you think of that? There's your Mexican Hat. Not the first thing that would come to my mind. I mean, we're in Utah. We're not in Mexico or New Mexico or Texas. I mean, I guess Utah's getting close-ish, but it's weird stuff going on all over the place around here, though, man. Again, I mean, there's hiking trails, but man, you get lost in here and you're done. You're done for. Okay, here's some more hats ish. The brims of the hats, more flying saucers. Looks very weird. I wonder if the filter's been exaggerated or something. It looks really red. Really red. What do you think of what you're seeing here? It's pretty interesting. You know, the first thing that pops into my head is not. You know what I mean? You know, the old Speedy Gonzalez stereotype. Ore frigore, Senor Posicato, look at my crazy hat up here. I mean, I'm just looking at this. I look at stuff like this and I'm like, whoa, wait a second here. This looks very unusual. Like my ocular sphericals are transmitting it to my brain, but my brain is going, say again? you know. Sorry, it's like 0 to 60 on the zoom here. Wow. Very, very unusual, to say the least. Interesting. So yeah, they're Mexican hat. It looks very much like medicine hat. Seriously, you know, like the Red Rock Coolie. Just not as red. Maybe a little more vegetation. But, you know, the Badlands have a similar look to them. Drumheller, most especially. That's been split and then split again. Split laterally and longitudinally. I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know what I mean. This way, and then that way. There's your flying saucer. Crashed here 100 million years ago and it calcified. Ah, very interesting. Very interesting. Ah, Mexican hat, medicine hat, Messiah hat. Yes, your medicine man, your shaman. He would see when you were sick, and he would therefore save you. He'd save you from what ails you. Let's see a video. There's the rings. Does that look like you just hacked yourself a piece of firewood? I was just splitting some firewood, and there she cut funny because it had a knot in it. You know what I mean? Giant grapefruit. Yeah, well, yeah, and some of them almost look like jars with lids. This one in the background here that you see right here. It's roundish or jar shaped with what looks like a lid on it. Very unusual. I mean, some of these cuts, especially in the Devil's Marbles, I mean, it's split in half. We see that with the quote unquote glacial anomalies here in Alberta, too, that they tell us. You know, those buffalo rubbing stones, those glacier erratics. Not glacial erratics. Glacial. Let's screw that up. But anyway, sometimes they're split in half too. These almost look like blocks as well, sort of. Like this spherical shape, roughly spherical shape. It's comprised of a bunch of blocks put together. You can see here in the background, it looks a lot more like that Mexican hat landscape back in here. There's those jars with lids. Very strange. So yeah, just some food for thought. There's a little bit of a link, just a very strange, anomalous thing. Again, the whole thing is Jabirujoe's fault. Jabirujoe's at the helm of this whole train wreck with the devil's marbles and red rocks, the medicine hat and the Mexican hat. And as per usual, you could be messing around down there in the goggle machine, looking around for hours and just seeing all kinds of strange stuff. Most especially, again, with the Badlands, whether it's Utah or Alberta or Wyoming, Arizona, I think, too. All in their places. You know what I'm saying? Some of them do have that shape too, like an oyster or a clam sort of shape to them as well. Yeah. And again, some of them are almost perfect spheres and others are very potato shaped. But those two very different shaped anomalies, rocks, giant boulders, whatever you want to call these things, supposedly formed from in the same manner. Right there, because they're right there together. So yeah, just really interesting and really weird. Oh yeah, I'm not screen sharing it there anymore there, Modoc. Yeah. I like to have something in the background. I don't know. I could just put up, a picture, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. I like to put up something interesting in the background. Anyway, coming up on 2 hours, pretty close here. So I think I'm getting ready to wind this thing down. So as always, I want to thank you very much for joining me here on the live show. Once again, Frankie, New West Reset. This was New West Reset Live, episode 80. Hats and rocks, and marbles and stuff. So thanks for winding down your weekend here, your Sunday for, well, some of us. Some of you might be early Monday morning or Monday afternoon already. If so, good morning, good afternoon. Good evening to all the rest of us around over here, this part of the realm, planet, the world, the thing. The turtle's back. I don't know, wherever we are. The puddle in a petri dish. The cosmic science experiment. I don't know what. Giant video game. Anyway, starting to ramble now. My blood sugar's low, eh? I need to get some food in me. It's past dinner time. It's 7 p.m. here locally, eh? So with that, that's going to seal the deal here for Frankie, New West Reset. Again, links for everything below. Thanks again for joining me. Thanks again to Jabirujoe for throwing me those photos and a little bit of that information that kicked this whole thing off. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. And once again, thanks to all of you who are to tune in after the fact. Keep it locked on here for Boots on the Ground every Friday, every Sunday live show, and midweek vintage footage on Wednesdays. And as mentioned, going up to Edmonton in the middle of next week. So if you're up there, Link below for my email. Let me know. I'll be downtown Wednesday, noon-ish. I'll give you further details as we get closer to that date. So until the next one, take care out there and have yourselves a good one. All right? Thanks a lot, everybody. Cheers.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma.